Hey guys, it's Justin and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about where to invest your money as a student. And we're going to talk about 5 places you should put your money, from 1 being the most safest to number 5 being the most riskiest. Before we get into it, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Aura. If you're like me and love saving money, you probably shared your Netflix password with your friends and family. And statistically, the average consumer has 90 accounts. It's most likely that you don't have 90 different passwords to go with each one. So if someone has one of your passwords, they probably have access to your other accounts. This can make you and your accounts extremely vulnerable to things like identity theft and fraud. And if you think that won't happen to you, just know that American consumers lost $56 billion from identity theft in 2020. And that's a lot of money. This is why I've partnered with the sponsor of this video, Aura. Aura is an identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all combined in one easy to use app that monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, your social security number, and quickly sends alerts right to your phone and email. I've dealt with fraud and I know with fraud, every second matters. I love Aura because it can connect my credit and bank accounts and notify me of any changes up to 4 times faster than Aura's other competitors. Aura's VPN allows me to stay anonymous online by keeping my browser history and personal info safe and encrypted. And the best part is that Aura's antivirus software will block malware and viruses before they infect devices. Aura found my personal information on the dark web 5 times in the past 2 weeks. So stay safe and start your 2-week free trial today at aura.com/justlee. Once you sign up, don't forget to comment down below how many times your personal info was found. Back to the video. So before we talk about 5 places you should put your money, let's talk about why you should invest. Now, investing will create long-term wealth, or it can give you a goal or perspective of where you want to go with your money. Now, obviously set goals. It could be long-term, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and have a strategy towards your goals by investing, and know how much you can afford to invest and how much your monthly expenses are going to be every single month. That way the rest of that gets invested, and the earlier the better, because remember, when you invest, there's something called compound interest, where every single dollar you put in is compounded every single year because it's invested. So the $100 you invest for, let's say, 5%, the first year could be $105, only $5, but that second year will be $105 reinvested with 5%. So remember, starting early is a great way to invest and make compound interest and have long-term wealth. So that being said, make sure you set goals, know your why. It could be short-term or long-term goals. It could be short terms where you want to save up for a car, or if you want to save up for, let's say, a house. Or it could be investing, where you want to invest in a long-term gain where you have a lot of money for your future. It could be different types. Make sure you set your goal. Now, number 2 is going to be adopt strategies. This is going to be your realistic strategies, or how much you want to diversify on your investing. It could be investing in long term to the point where you're putting in a lot into investing and cutting down your expenses every single month, or having a lifestyle where you're comfortable currently and then investing the rest, or partial of it investing. So adopt a strategy that's well for you, to the point where you know exactly how much you should be spending on your expense and how much you should be saving and investing. And number 3 is going to be how much can you afford, right? How much are you willing to sacrifice your current lifestyle to the point where you can start investing for your future? Now, there's this model that I live by where it says, if you want happiness, you need to sacrifice. And that's at the end of the day really true, because if you want long-term wealth, you're gonna have to sacrifice. If you want anything for the long-term game, you're gonna have to sacrifice something, either time, energy, money, something where you're gonna have to sacrifice for the cause or the reason of why you want to invest. So with that being said, let's talk about the first place and the most safest way where you can start investing as a student, which is going to be number 1, your Roth IRA. So a Roth IRA, or an individual retirement account, is something where you can put your money in and it will grow with compound interest, and it is also tax deductible. So if you work a 9 to 5, usually your company or your employee will give you a Roth IRA if you work full time. And basically, this is where maybe a company will match a certain amount of money per month. So let's say they'll match about $1,000 every month. So if you invest $1,000, your company will also invest $1,000 into your Roth IRA. And there is no age limit when you can start. You can start doing this when you're a kid, and I know a lot of wealthy people who create a Roth IRA for their kids to start investing because it's tax deductible, and to the point where your parents don't have to pay any taxes on it. But for ones who are working, it is non-taxable unless you take money out of your Roth IRA. But there are also programs where if you're starting to buy a home or if you're starting to buy a big purchase, you can actually pull money out of your Roth IRA without having to pay any taxes. Basically, Roth IRA states that you can put in a certain amount of money every single year, and this depends on your salary and also your age and your company. But basically, all it states is you get to put in money into a Roth IRA, and when you retire, usually around 65, you can pull that money and not have to pay any taxes on it. So if you had a salary of $50,000 and you basically had $50,000, and instead of saving that amount, you took out $50,000, that means you would have to pay taxes on that $50,000. But if you put money onto the Roth IRA, you wouldn't have to pay the taxes for the amount you put into your Roth IRA, which is going to be super safe, and you can always control it, and also it is compound interest. So there's no reason why you shouldn't put money into your Roth IRA every single month. All right, now that we talked about Roth IRA, let's talk about fund investing. It's going to be a little bit more riskier than Roth IRA, but it's also a great way to get started investing. Now, fund investing is going to be anything like low cost index funds or exchange traded funds, or ETFs. Now, these are going to be low risk. These are going to be long term. Now, you're going to have to think of ETFs as 30 to 20 years. It's things that you're not going to pull out. All right, these are going to be things where it's going to be on the S&P 500, or pretty much you can have pools of company. Instead of visually investing in single stocks, you can invest in something called ETFs, where it's going to be like your 50 or your 100 or your 200 most earning companies, and they all have split shares, and you purchase it through ETFs. So basically, if one company decides that they become bankrupt, then another one that's on the 51st will pull up to the 50 and be put into your ETF. So it's always going to be diversified to the point where if one stock is doing bad, it won't hurt, since you have like 50 or 100 different stocks included in that. But if you do individual stocks, though, everything rides on that one company. So ETFs are a great way to hold on to your money and never sell it, until you retire and you're ready to pull your money out. But until then, ETFs are a great way to save money and invest and keep it long term. Now, you'll see ETFs average about 7 to 10% every single year, and they can do more or less depending on, the economy. So ETFs are a great way to get started. You can invest as little as $10, or you can go all the way to $100 or $10,000, as much as you want. But ETFs are great ways to start investing without having to do all the back end work of each individual company, but also knowing what ETF is great and not. Vanguard is always a great option. All right, now that we talked about ETFs, let's talk about a little bit more riskier. Is going to be your high yield savings account, or CDs. The reason why I say this one's a little bit more riskier is because high yield savings accounts are really hard to come by, and it's probably not going to be higher than the inflation rate. Like currently, inflation is about 8 to 10% right now in 2022, and high yield savings accounts probably like at most 4 to 3%. So yes, you're doing better than putting your money in a checking account, but you are technically losing a little bit of money. But it is a great way to sort of invest your money in having a high yield savings account, because you technically are sort of beating a little bit of inflation, but you still have liquidity to where you can put your money wherever you want, and you can go to a bank and take the money out as soon as possible. So high yield savings accounts are great. Now, and CDs are going to be a little bit different. CDs are certificate of deposit. So basically what you do is you have a set amount of years. It could be 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever you decide on what the bank is offering, and you put up your money up front, and after your 2 or 3 years, they will pay you back and the interest that you agreed upon with the bank. So yes, there is risk because inflation could get even higher, and you've already put your money in front to the bank, and you can't get it out into those certain amount of years that you have confirmed with them. But it's a great way to sort of put your money without having to touch it. All right, now that we talked about that, let's go into something a little bit more riskier, which is going to be stocks, or specifically individual stocks. Now, stocks individuals are buying a small percentage of a company. So for example, let's talk about a big company like Apple. Obviously, Apple is valuated at like billions of dollars, and it wouldn't be fair for someone to buy Apple. So instead, what they do is stocks, where you can buy a small percentage of their company, and whenever they do good or bad, the stocks increase and decrease, and that's how you make money, or your profit made after you pay your taxes on selling your stocks. You don't technically make money by buying a stock, but it appreciating in value will be where you make money when you sell the stock and you make a profit. So as a business increases over time, like Apple or Microsoft, your stocks will increase in value or it can decrease in value. So you always want to know, and you always want to do a little bit of research, and there is going to be more risk as you go into individual stocks, but the reward to risk ratio can be good or bad depending on if you do your research well and you know exactly what the business is being evaluated for. So it is a little bit more riskier and it's going to need a lot of more research, but it can be a great way to, I guess, become a millionaire in one night, just like Bitcoin. So stocks are going to be a way that if you want to put your money into a little bit more riskier and buy a share through one individual company, this is a great way to start, I guess, expanding your investment portfolio. So now that we talk about stocks, let's talk about my favorite part, which is going to be, I guess, your more risky play, but I believe it's the best one, which is going to be number 5, side hustles. Now, side hustles are a great way to start making money and where you can invest in your own projects. And this is where you work for yourself and for your time and for your energy for yourself, where you can grow and set up and develop potentially a future full-time business on yourself. And this is going to be a great way to start investing your money. Now, obviously in investing, you want to see a rate of return, but with side hustles, you see rate of returns by how well or how much energy or how much time you put into your side hustle. So if you want to flip or you want to purchase something or you want to start a service business, this is where you're going to, I guess, put in $100 of your invested money and start growing that business so that that business becomes profitable to where you reap the rewards of your investment in the beginning. So side hustles are great. Now you can start side hustles with anything, especially with if you have a car like Uber. You can start off really slow with Uber, Lyft, stuff like that. Or you can go a little bigger by going into real estate, doing blogging, affiliate marketing, something like that. Or you can go big and make it a big full-time business, but start small, something that you know, and start with some knowledge that you do know. So it could be like starting a course up or starting a YouTube. With everything going on with this world and internet going on, side hustles can be a great way to invest your money and make a lot of rate of return. And it's the point where you should have a side hustle. You should invest in having a side hustle. If you have $100, don't go buy the new Nike sneakers that you see online. Take the $100 and try and see if you can buy a sneaker and then sell it for a profit or something like that, where you can make a side hustle where you can make profit instead of buying something and losing value over time. So side hustles are a great way, and to a point where it could be a profitable business later on in the future if you keep hustling through it. So with that being said, those are your 5 ways that I would say you should invest your money as a student. Now, number 1, Roth IRA is going to be your most, I would say you should, and it should be the recommended thing that everyone does. And after that, number 2, fund investing, where you put your money, ETFs and stuff, where you're pulling a lot of safe companies into one individual fund. Number 3, high yield savings account or CDs. If you're more willing to put your money and have it to the bank and then pay you an interest, go ahead and do high yield savings account or CDs. Or number 4, if you want to take it a little bit more riskier and you want to reap a little bit more reward, then maybe stocks for your future. And number 5, my favorite part, which I believe everyone should do with also Roth IRA, side hustles are going to be great, and I suggest everyone start one. It could be from Uber, and you can start off with doing Uber and then taking that money, investing into something bigger. So with that being said, hopefully you got some ideas with investing as a student. And the thing is, investing doesn't matter if you have 50 cents or $1 to $10,000 to $100,000. Investing is investing, and the earlier you do it, the more you'll reap your rewards and the more you'll have for your future. So start early, start young. Make your expenses low as possible and start putting all your money to work instead of using that money to buy unnecessary things for your lifestyle. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And if you're interested in Aura, the link will be in the description box below. And so with that being said, guys, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till then.